What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another TB Toycast unboxing right here on YouTube. As today I'm unboxing the Hasttel Toy Grappler and Gimmicks Sensational Sherri. This is a surprise drop. No one was expecting this. And not only that, Sensational Sherri has a Mattel Retro coming out. There's going to be a new 4-pack over on Mattel Creations featuring Hulk Hogan as Rip Thomas from No Holds Barred. Zeus, the human wrecking machine. I'm never going to say no to a Zeus figure. Miss Elizabeth, and of course, Sensational Sherri. That 4-pack will be available sometime in the near future. But we also got, coincidentally enough, a Kurt Fuller from Hasttel Toy in Grapplers and Gimmicks from No Holds Barred. So that'll go great with that Rip and Zeus. We'll be unboxing that very, very quickly on the channel here. But I was blown away by this figure. It was an in-stock drop, and he kind of showed it off right around the time of New York Comic Con, and I could not order it fast enough. In fact, there's actually been another Sherri figure, Queen Sherri, released. This, of course, depicts her time with the one and only Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. In fact, will be paired very well with your Hasbro Shawn Michaels, of course, with the white pants and the red hearts on there. Perfect companion piece for that figure. But, of course, the Queen Sherri will go very well with a Macho King figure if you're so inclined. So, to me, for my money, the absolute best retro figures in the game. Hands down, bar none, Mitch has done amazing. To me, these are not only a love letter to the Hasbro line, they are an official continuation to the Hasbro line. The best for my money. And everybody's doing great. I try to support all the retro companies, but this is by far my favorite. I love the artwork. Real vintage style figure with Sensational Slam. Of course, with accessories, a stand. Probably because being a female figure, a little bit smaller in scale. Smaller feet, sometimes a little harder to stand up. And a mirror, because she held the mirror for Shawn Michaels. How great. How great's the artwork there with, of course, the Sherri Martel autograph, the G logo, very similar of the WWF at the time logo. Really, really cool stuff. And we're going to turn around and look at the back here of the roster, or the cross-sell, as they say. Of course, we got the original artwork there. And then other figures coming out in the line. Of course, the Queen Sherri that I already mentioned. Macho Man Randy Savage. This time with the jacket and the hat. Oh, man, we're already double dipping. I can't say it's a bad thing. I do like it. I have the Macho Man from WrestleMania 8 pre-ordered, but in the wrestling gear, not in the entrance gear. Now, that's an interesting thing, too, right? Because as a kid, how great would that have been to have Macho come to the ring, hat, tassel, sunglasses. Then he gets in the ring, you switch the figure, now he's in wrestling gear, now he's ready to fight. Because that always bothered me as a kid. I wanted Hulk Hogan to be able to rip his shirt off. I wanted The Undertaker to be able to take his hat off, because those were important to their presentations, but they didn't really work, because in the Hasbro figures, you couldn't do that stuff. So, Mitch, I think he's thought of it all. Of course, the Hasttel team, the creative lead, Mitch, of course, Mitch Rolston from Hasttel Toy, concept artist Carl Jenkins, who does an amazing job, action art also from Carl Jenkins, figure sculpt, eBerry Studio. That guy is amazing. I've done some work with him as well. And then, of course, the other two figures in the line, Coco Beware or James W. Ware, is coming. That is pre-ordered. And the 1997 version of the British Bulldog. I don't have that one. I do have the 92 version of Bulldogs. That's really more my favorite Bulldog, more golden era. But very, very cool stuff nonetheless. I love that the back of the carding is black and white. That's how the Hasbros were. And what was always cool about these right here, you would see the figure, you would see the outline, you would see the line art, but you didn't know actually what they look like. I don't know what color Coco Beware's pants are. I don't know what Bulldog looks like. And Macho Man, look how many costumes he had. You have no idea what that costume's going to be like. And that, to me, was the really fun thing about the original Hasbro line, is even though you saw what might be coming, you weren't really for sure how it was going to look. So I think that's really, really cool stuff. So we're going to open up Sherri here. Oh, man. I love that. Perfect card art. Oh, very, very cool. As Hasbro can be, right there, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love it. Hard to pull off the package here. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be effective. Of course, we got the stand as I drop it, and the mirror as I also drop it. Never perfect. All right, we'll pop Sherri out of the package here. All right. Very cool figure. You know, it's interesting. Well, see, look at that. She actually does stand up without that stuff. So I guess it's possible. Adjust my camera there a little bit. We got the stand here. Actually, a really quality stand. I like that a lot. I think that'll be perfect. We'll set that there. And then, of course, the mirror. She can hold the mirror, and like she's over there getting Shawn all hyped up to defend the Intercontinental title against Marty Jannetty. Unfortunately, we probably won't see any of these retro companies get a Shawn Michaels figure, being that he's still under a WWE deal. Easier said than done on this one, my goodness. Struggling. There we go, got one hand. Can we get them both? Nah, that's not going to work. All right. Put the boot in the peg. Can it be done? Geometry was not my best subject. There we go. But as we saw, she actually stands up without it, so it's not totally necessary, I don't think. But the mirror is definitely a nice touch. It'll take some work to get that in her hand, I think. But still a really cool piece. Looky there. Just like Shawn would say, cover your face up so you can look at me. I want to look at myself. I'm the Heartbreak Kid, the one and only HBK. But man, this is awesome. And now we're starting to get some females in the retro style line, which I think is really cool. Of course, Mattel recently doing China and Wendy Richter. And then, of course, Sensational Sherri also coming from Mattel, as is Miss Elizabeth. Some pretty key... Oh, and Alundra Blaze, too. We got an Alundra Blaze as well. So a lot of women coming from Mattel, which is really, really cool. And I know over at Heels and Faces, Zombie Sailor Toys, he's got a Francine coming. So that will pair up really nicely with the Shane Douglas he has, which I think is a lot of fun. We're seeing a lot more female figures these days. I know a lot of people are into that. I think also Missy Hyatt is going to be in the Big Rubber Guys line. Or the first Big Rubber Gal, right? I think it's great. I plan to order that one because she totally fits into the era. She's going to be a pre-order available with the Brainbusters or the Four Horsemen, however you look at it. So some really cool stuff in the line. There's not a lot to say about these retro figures other than I think it was absolutely nailed. And the thing is, I feel like this is probably such a hard thing to do for someone like Grapplers and Gimmicks or even any of the other retro lines that have tried a female figure because there's nothing to base it on. Right? Like with the original Hasbro figures, they had so many different bodies. You can kind of look at a certain character, like, it kind of looked like this guy. Or it would, maybe the arm like that guy, but with nothing to base it on, you're basically starting from scratch. And while I am no artist by any stretch of the imagination, I could tell you that would not be an easy thing to pull off. But he has done it, and he has done it very, very well. So my hat's off to Mitch over there at Hasttel Toys, because he is doing fantastic with this line. And I can't wait to unbox more of them. I just wish I was doing this channel before I had unboxed a lot of the ones I have, because I'd love to do a full line of them, because it's such an awesome line. I've got Macho Man coming. I've got Waylon Mercy coming. I'm super excited about that Waylon Mercy figure. It's going to be incredible. Coco Beware is coming. I also have Kurt Fuller. He's actually sitting on the chair behind me. I will be doing an unboxing video on him very, very soon. So if you want these figures, HastelToy.com. Follow him also on Instagram at Hasttel Toy or at Grapplers and Gimmicks. He's got so much fun stuff in the pipeline. And I also want to mention this because I was a little taken aback by this, but so I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, I want to say, a company popped up on Instagram that was showing a bulldog figure, a British bulldog figure, that was like a bulldog. And I'm like, huh? I'm getting a little wild out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's some... That's not, all I can say is like, that's not for me. I don't want that at all. And then at New York Comic Con, old buddy Mitch showed off that very same bulldog prototype, but also a kind of Medusa head style Jake the Snake, which he also has Jake the Snake coming. How cool is that? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And since then, we've seen some renderings for the Godwins. That's kind of crazy, weird pigmen. And they're called Grapplers and Gimmicks Mutations. And, you know, I'm like... My first thought is like, I don't need those. But then the more I look at them, I'm like, no, I absolutely need those. I'm a sucker for anything a little bit out of the ordinary. You'll see with what I box on this channel if you follow me, which I hope you do. Anything that's a little different, I'm probably going to be into. When WWE dove into mutants and monsters and all that stuff and zombies, I didn't buy them all because I was a little broke at the time. Didn't have a lot of disposable income. But I always thought they were cool. And I still stand by, I think those would have been a lot more successful if they had chosen a different scale. But the fact that they were the same scale as the other WWE figures, it felt a little weird. But when WWE did Masters of the WWE Universe, when Mattel did it rather, that was a pretty big hit. But they were in a different scale. And I think if you had done WWE Barbarians in basic scale, but they had armor, it wouldn't have been as good. Sometimes you got to think outside the box and do things a little bit differently, in my opinion, and that gets people like, ooh, I kind of want this. Maximum Sweat, good friend of mine, Daniel Cross, loves that line because it's different. Flexums, I'm sure you guys remember Flexums back in the day. Those were some of the most hideous figures I've ever seen, but they did stop you in your tracks because you're like, what am I looking at? Sometimes you need that in a figure. So Grapplers and Gimmicks Mutations, I'm all in. I'm buying all of them, and I'm unboxing them on the channel because I think that's awesome. The logo kind of has the slime on there. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be really, really cool. Like I said, I'm a sucker for anything a little bit different. Jack Stomp figures. Oh, man. I would love to do like a whole history of Stomp figures on this channel. That would be so much fun. Who knows? Maybe I have some ideas. But that's all I got this week for this episode. This unboxing, rather. Easy for me to say here on YouTube. Make sure you guys check out the podcast, the TB Toycast, every Thursday. We always have a main event where we dive into a specific episode. And I'll go back a little bit in the archives. We recently covered Cops and Crooks. Crooks, Series 1. Because we covered the Cops over a year ago. But they did the Cops Series 1 and the Crooks Series 1. So you got to talk about the bad guys. We covered all those. Really fun figures. In fact, those are getting some sort of a relaunch coming soon from Fresh Monkey Fiction. I'm really looking forward to that. So make sure to check out TV Toycast every Thursday, and then come back here on YouTube every Wednesday and every Friday for a new unboxing video. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe, tell a friend, and let me know what you like. If there's something you'd like to see me unbox, please let me know, and I'll try my best to make it happen right here on this channel. Thank you guys, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.